And the musical instruments that that's more typical for this Irish folk music. Do you get to learn these to play instrument by your parents? How does it?
Not me personally. Talent was definitely lacking in that regard. But yeah, many relatives I have. You know what I mean? Play anything from the violin to guitars and fiddles and banjos and stuff. Yeah.
I don't know if I would tell this story at home. Once again, there's a lot of things you can say over here that you don't say at home. But my grandfather, he played on old 78s over in Ireland. He played a few different instruments, and the way my father would tell it, he'd be sitting at the kitchen table playing his accordion, and the phone would ring, and he'd let it go a couple times, and then he'd put down the accordion, he'd get up, calm, stone face, tear the phone off the wall, smash it into 1,000 pieces, and sit back down and start playing like it never even happened.
Well, that was like that was how people entertain themselves. That was what I mean. I have a cousin, sometimes play the viola, and I'm like in a trance. After dinner, there's no TV. Back in those days, there might not be any TV, and it's same effect now. After dinner, someone sits down and starts playing an instrument. I'm like, oh, like a zombie, So I think that was how you soothe the savage beast. So that's how you entertain yourself.
My mother was blown away the first time she walked in my room and I was listening to like old Irish music. She goes, "This sounds like something Uncle Timmy would be singing on the table at the Irish Club." Like thought it was absurd that it was something that I was now interested in.
But do you stay connected to what is happening in Ireland now, music-wise? Because otherwise, you are developing your own musical styles based upon the traditional Irish music.
Well, we're playing off something that was brought from before over to us. We don't get our finger on the pulse of pop music in Ireland at all, and that's we're plucking from the traditional pool, and that's something that I think it's not going to go anywhere. It's something that's always it gets passed down. Ronnie Drew said to us when we first met him, they told us we were doing something wrong. They told the Pogues they were doing something wrong. And I'm sure you guys are going to hear that you're doing something wrong, but it's part of the tradition of the music. You find a way to make it interesting to a new generation, and we're just continuing that tradition. I'm sure there's going to be some band that we think is a little off 10 years from now, maybe covering our songs or something, but it's just a matter of, like I said, making music relevant for now.
Yeah. How is Shane McGowan doing now? Do you know him?
Well, I mean,
we don't exactly chat on the phone.
Call him on the phone, but I mean, we know each other, see each other, and we've worked together, obviously. And if they play in town, I go and see them. And he's exactly what you think he is. Boy, I hope he donates his body to science when he's all done, because it's amazing that he keeps up the pace that he lives at and still makes it to the gigs, and for the most part makes it on stage and plays the shows. It's pretty amazing.
Mumford and Sons are now really big. Your albums are getting higher and higher in the charts. How come this music now is more people's taste now?
I don't. With us, I think it's not so much that it's the people's taste. I feel like we're like the rodent that somehow got into the charts that they can't get out. It's just like our fans are buying the records.
People have to buy it.
Yeah. Whereas Mumford and Sons really did bring it to the masses. You know what I mean? And there's probably people that have bought that record that never heard a banjo before in their life. So I think I think it's great when you turn on commercial radio and you hear real instruments like that, and a simple band that's kind of keeping it simple and playing a form of rock and roll, playing a form of folk music, and it doesn't have computers, it doesn't have synthesizers, and not to say there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes that's all you hear when you turn on the radio, and it's nice to hear something a little different,
And that's the thing, like if you see us on the charts, you see us amongst bands that we have nothing to do with, and we'll come and go with that first week of big sales, because our fans are awesome and they will go out and buy the record, but we're not part of that pop music thing. It's awesome to show up. I'm sure there's people who are like, who is this band? What are they even doing there? And it's nice that we're able to make that dent, but it doesn't mean that you can hold us up in the same place as those bands who spend months and months and months in the top spot on the charts,
Do you like the songs by Mumford and Sons?
I think Mumford and Sons is great. I enjoy all their work.